unstoppable, we're never beat. In the stands, the crowd's alive, cheering for UConn. They won't give up the fight from the first pitch to the final out. We're Husky Hardball, we've got the power.
I hate that picture of me. Welcome to Husky Hardball. I'm your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, my Robin to my Batman, Coach Schumann. And
I'm nobody's Robin.
And we are.
You love when I say that too.
I do. And the other show, when I'm the lieutenant and you're the detective. The Zodiac show did very well, actually.
Did it?
People, yeah. When I posted it, people loved it. We were talking about the Big East tournament last week.
Yes.
And it was a disappointing start because we had lost to St. John's. It was double elimination, and there's only 7 teams that were in the tournament. So we had to win out, and we did have a great game against Xavier the following day. What are you laughing at? We did.
No, read this from Christy.
Oh, okay. Breaking news. Oh,
that is breaking news. Christy's always got to guess.
Christy, we got it done. He's gone.
Christy always has to cause trouble. Christy, you can't call people names on the podcast.
Yes, he can. He wants to get me going.
He wants you to get going.
Can you feel the Big East energy? He's talking about Zanato's podcast. No, you know what? Jared did a lot of good for Bleeding Blue and Store Central, and it's too bad that he left.
I don't know how I get dragged into all that because I don't even know these people.
I know because I sat in Burton's box and he was Burton's right-hand man. So that again, it's somewhat confusing because if you go on the UConn Huskies website, it has donate on there. So it's you're screwing things up because you have 2 different sites that are accepting donations, and you don't know if I donate to UConnHuskies.com, is that NIL money? Is that what they're using to replace the television revenue that, because schools can pay players this year,
right?
And we don't have a television contract that's gonna pay millions of dollars like the ACC or the Big 12 or the SEC. So that's why I don't know if I donate on UConnHuskies.com as opposed to donating on Store Central. I have to find out what the difference is. That because I know, I mean, they're putting together a major fundraising effort. Because they're trying to catch up. So that's the only thing. But UConn had a great game against Xavier. They won 11-2. They had 16 hits. 16 hits. Xavier only had 3. And UConn scored consistently throughout the game. The 3rd inning, Ryan Daniels, he doubled, and it was Caleb Shapour who scored, and Rispoli scored, Robert Spoley. They've been great all year. Also in the third inning, our boy Tyler Minnick singled, and Daniels scored, Ryan Daniels. And then in the fourth inning, Robert Spoley singled, RBI, another RBI, and Root scored, and Garbowski advanced to second. And then in the fifth, we had Ryan Daniels, two-run home run, and that put him up 5-0. And then it was an onslaught from there. In the fifth inning, they had the bases loaded. Root walked, and then Minnick scored. So they walked in a run, and they had another one that walked, made it 8-0. So the pitching for Xavier was not very good. And then in the fifth inning, Padilla singled up the middle. Doherty scored. Biller scored. It's 8-0. So Brian Padilla contributed. And, I mean, they just have so much power up and down the lineup. And then the only runs that Xavier had was Jake Lambden had a solo home run in the sixth. And then we walked in a run. Lambden was walked in the seventh with the bases loaded, and a run scored. And then in the eighth, Aiden Doherty singled to right. Tyler Minnick scored. I made the score 11-2. And that closed the door. And the pitching was just outstanding. Charlie West, 6 1/3, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, struck out 5. Only 89 pitches. That's outstanding. And then Sean Finn came in and pretty much shut things down. 2 2/3, no runs. He struck out 6. And that was the game. So they came. It was good to see them come back and destroy Xavier and propel them to the championship game, which was a barn burner. It was a barn burner. UConn lost 7-4 to Creighton. And, they struggled against Creighton all year long. They struggled.
Creighton is very good. Creighton's very good.
They played them earlier in the season when they weren't doing as well, but they struggled. UConn, ended up 38-22. Creighton was 42-20.
So we didn't get an at-large bid.
We didn't, which is, it comes down to strength of schedule and all that stuff. We didn't have a great strength of schedule because the Big East wasn't superior. But when you look back on it, we beat Vanderbilt, who was ranked 16th or 17th. We beat North Carolina, who was ranked 16th or 17th.
UConn baseball has been the NCAAs.
Yeah.
2010, 2011, 2013, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, 24. They've been to the NCAAs the last until this year 4 in a row. And,
exactly.
And they won the Big East at 25, the regular season, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 5 times.
Exactly. And Caleb Shapur, Ryan Daniels, Tyler Minnick from UConn made the all-tournament team.
Okay.
The rest were Creighton players. So this game was, it was close. It was a barn burner. UConn did not get the bats going until the 5th inning. Creighton scored in the 3rd inning. Duffalo had a solo home run. And then in the 5th inning, Hess was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded, and they had another run that scored off of that. And then they had a sac fly, which also scored another run. Uconn came back. Root homered, had a solo shot. I like Mr. Root. He's been pretty consistent throughout. Bo Root. Now it was interesting. He DH'd this game, which he had not been before. But that was Shapur homered in the 5th. That made it 1-1. It was 2-1 when we hit Creighton player by a pitch with the bases loaded, and that walked in a run. That made it 2-1 Creighton. Then they had the sac fly that made it 3-1. Root homered that made it 3-2. It's the 6th inning, 3-2. And then in the 6th inning, Creighton had another sac fly. McLean flied out, and Caprice scored. That made it 4-2. In the 7th, they had another sac fly. North flied out, and Hess scored. That made it 5-2. And then in the 8th, this is where they kind of broke it open. Gillen doubled, and it was a 2-run double. McLean and Hess both scored. That made it 7-2 in the 8th. So what made it close was in the 9th, Ryan Daniels homered, and it was a 2-run shot. Shapur scored. So it was 7-4, and that was all she wrote. They weren't able to add any more runs, and that is how the game ended. Uconn pitching, it was interesting because they pitched like 8 guys. Sam Hutchinson started. He went 2 innings, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, 34 pitches. I don't know why they would have pulled him. Then they went to Ian Cook. Ian Cook had been good all year. He went 2 2/3. He gave up 2 runs, and he struck out 1. He threw 44 pitches. They brought in JT Caruso. He apparently had 1 at bat, and he got the person out. Greg Shaw came in, pitched 2 1/3, and he was the one who gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and also walked 1. He faced 8 at batters, and he threw 30 pitches in a very short period. Cameron Meyer pitched a 1/3 and did well, got out what he needed to. Evan Hamburger, he faced 1 batter, and unfortunately, he was the one who gave up a hit and an earned run, and they pulled him. And then they went to Hector Alejandro, who went 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, and that was it. Unfortunately, Creighton, their pitching was spot on. They had 4 pitchers. The only 2 of them gave up earned runs. And then it was Garrett Langrell who gave up the 2-run shot to Tyler Minnick. But that was it. Garrett Langrell shut the door. He pitched 3 innings. He gave up 5 hits. He struck out 3 and ended the game. Ian Cook took the loss that put him at 2-5. Brendan Strike got the win for Creighton as they win the tournament. Technical foul. I wonder what a technical foul is.
A technical foul in baseball?
Yeah. It says Garrett Langrell got a technical foul. Sam, that can't be right. Shea Went got a save. Ian Cook got a save. Sam Hutchinson got a save. So that's going over the tournament. So it was disappointing. UConn definitely.
Year. It's just that they didn't get to the tournament, after making 4 in a row.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they were. If you look at the second half of the year, they were on a roll. I mean, their only losses. I know they had lost to Rutgers. They lost to Northeastern. They lost to, I think they lost to St. John's later on. But, I mean, they did beat North Carolina, who was ranked number 17, because they're talking about strength of schedule. Miami's always good. They won 2 out of 3 against Miami. They beat number 14 ranked Vanderbilt. They lost to USC and UCLA. This was, I think killed them. They lost to Florida Atlantic in a 2 out of 3 series. They lost to Penn State. They lost to Missouri. They lost to Stetson. So, I mean, it was, and then the Campbell thing, they lost 2 out of 3 to Campbell. They swept UNC Greensboro. They lost to BC, and then they just couldn't figure out Northeastern. They got beaten by Northeastern. The first series against Xavier, they lost 2 out of 3.
Right.
They beat Quinnipiac. Creighton, again, I mean, they lost 2 out of 3 to Creighton. And the losses were bad. I mean, they lost 14-2 and then 11-7. And then after that Creighton game, which was on April 6th, that's when they kind of went on a run. They beat Bryant. They beat Hofstra. They swept Georgetown. They beat Boston College, swept Seton Hall, beat UMass, beat Army, and swept St. John's. The one loss was the one I talked about to Rutgers. That was April 29th. They beat Rhode Island. They swept Nova. They swept Butler. And again, they lost to Northeastern 7-1. The Northeastern was ranked 25th in the nation. And then they finished the season by sweeping Maine. The thing that killed them, in my opinion, was the first loss to Xavier, but that had gone into extra innings. They lost 8-11 in 10 innings. So had they won that, I mean, I think the path would have been easier. I still believe they may have had to have beaten Creighton twice. I don't know if Creighton lost during the tournament, so they would have had to beat Creighton twice to get in. But again, if you look at their overall record, they were 17-4 in the conference, 38-21 overall. So I mean that's why I know only 16 teams get in. I definitely think we were one of the best. I think they would have had to have taken into account how hot we were going into the tournament. And, the Xavier loss was extra innings. We come back and beat Xavier. I'm sorry. I apologize. The St. John's loss was, the Xavier loss was extra innings. We beat St. John's, we beat Xavier, and then we get to Creighton and we lose.
In order to become an elite team, we've got to get better pitching. That's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, if you look at the stats overall, the pitching was, I mean, nobody had more than 6 wins. They had Charlie West was 6-0. Sean Finn was 6-1. Oliver Pudvar was 6-1. Greg Shaw was 4-0. And then Tommy Ellison was 6-3. The rest was kind of a smorgasbord. Ian Cook was 2-5. He was one that took the loss of the Creighton game.
Okay.
So I mean, they have a roster. Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have like 20 pitchers. So right there alone, I mean, they have plenty of. They have a large staff.
Yeah.
And it looks like, I mean, Brady Affirm appeared in 22 games. Charlie West appeared in 15. Sean Finn appeared in 21. And Greg Shaw appeared in 26. And then Ian Cook appeared in 20. So, I mean, the rest of them had some spot duty here and there. But it's definitely a young team who can rebound. And you look at the hitting. Daniels, Shapur, Minnick, Root, best of the best. Tyler Minnick is just unbelievable. I mean, he had 22 home runs, 74 RBIs on the year, batting .355. Shapur batted .363, 8 home runs, 44 RBIs. And then Ryan Daniels batted .365, 18 home runs, 75 RBIs. And then down the line, you had Sam Biller, batted .296, 13 home runs, 60 RBIs. So, I mean, offensively, they had firepower.
Right.
They had firepower throughout. So I'm just curious to see the roster, just to see, because I thought they had a younger team.
When is their transfer portal?
I don't know how that works in baseball because Jimmy Penders is the head coach. He's awesome. And Coach Baylock coached him. They have a great staff. But I mean, you look at it, Brian Padilla, he'll be gone. He'll graduate. Tyler Minnick is only a sophomore. Rob Rispoli is a redshirt freshman. They lose Sam Biller. Ryan Daniels is a junior. He'll be back. Unfortunately, they'll lose Caleb Shapur. Sean Finn will be back. Charlie West, one of the good pitchers, will be back. Ian Cook, who took the loss, will be back. They lose Bo Root. MacArthur will be back. MacArthur was he's a big bastard. 6'4", 240. Right. He was the one who DH'd and played first. Brady Affirm, unfortunately, he was one of their top pitchers. They lose him. And I'm looking. Greg Shaw will be back. He was a good pitcher. He was 4-0 on the year. Oliver Pudvar, he was a great pitcher. He had 6 wins. He'll be back. He's only a sophomore. And Aiden Doherty, he'll be back. He had a couple clutch hits during the tournament. So they do lose some key players, but between having Tyler Minnick back, I think that's huge. He's obviously a guy that's going to be drafted. Rispoli being back is huge, and Oliver Pudvar pitching wise is huge for them. And it's Grant MacArthur being back is first baseman. DH is great. I know that Tyler Minnick also DH'd as well.
Yep.
Losing Brady Affram, one of the good pitchers, stinks. But having Greg Shaw back will be helpful. And they have a lot of young pitchers, like Oliver Pudvar. He had 4 wins. He'll be back. He'll be junior. And they have so many pitchers who are freshmen. So I think the future is bright. Aiden Doherty is back as well. He like I said, he played well in the tournament. So I mean, I don't know how the transfer portal works in baseball. UConn baseball prides itself in yes, you're right, Christy. They did allow Northeastern, Rutgers, and BC knock them around 100%. Yeah, you're right. The Power 4 conferences got the at-large bids. It's disappointing to see. And unfortunately, this was a good team that I do wish we had talked about covering them. We should have covered them. Yes, Christy, it's true that I was at the Burton complex last week and I got a tour. But Christy, if you can believe it, they're doing a documentary on me. That's why I was there filming a documentary. Why is Jared leaving? Basically, there's kind of like a power struggle going on right now with fundraising.
With baseball?
No, with fundraising in general, because the university wants more control, and the university, announced sharing. They were going to share revenue with the other sports. So I think that's why they're taking an initiative to fundraise on UConnHuskies.com, which is
are they doing that for all the sports or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm on UConn Huskies right now.
Like, how does baseball raise the money now?
If I go to donate, okay. So see the way that it works, God, there's so many funds. So if you want to donate the Husky Athletic Fund, so this is something I think is new. The Husky Athletic Fund, they offer a couple different donations. Half fight on fund giving. Excellence is in the heart of Husky tradition. Unrestricted annual gifts to fight on the fund are paramount to the sustained success and growth of UConn. Annual giving. Excellence is in the heart of Husky tradition. Annual gifts are paramount to the sustained success and growth of UConn athletics. Specific sport giving. Each year, our coaches and staffs specifically plan the upcoming year and identify many needs and areas of growth. you're giving to a specific sport helps them with their budgets. Capital enhancements. UConn Athletics is actively advancing a series of capital enhancement projects aimed at elevating its athletic facilities. So they have 4 different ways to give money, which is kind of confusing.
4 different ways. Yeah, that is confusing.
You know what I mean? I don't understand why they're doing that. I mean, because it's just going to confuse your supporters.
Right.
Because, you know, what are we doing with Store Central? Store Central has been the NIL for the university for many years, for a couple of years now.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, Store Central. I thought, don't they still have the what do you call it?
No, they got rid of Bleeding Blue.
So there's nothing.
Well, that was one of the reasons there was some dissension, so to speak, because Bleeding Blue was, you know, you could give to specific sports, but Bleeding Blue was, I would say, football driven.
Got it.
So I'm trying to get some answers on this. Because I just think it causes confusion. I think it causes confusion with donors.
So for the Baseball World Series, who got in?
They had 16 teams, all the conference champions.
Okay.
And then there were some at-large bids, and we did not get any of the at-large bids.
The bracket is, oh wow, it's a lot of teams, dude.
Yeah, see, I thought it was 16.
No, because you have a regional, super regional, and UConn. So UConn didn't even get in the.
How many teams are in total, would you say?
I'm looking for 8, 12, 16, 20, 20.
Oh my God, there must be 32.
64 teams. So we're not in the top 64? Like I feel like we got robbed.
64 teams got in?
Yeah. Top 16 seeds were Vandy, Texas, Arkansas, Auburn, North Carolina, LSU, Georgia, Oregon State, Florida State, Ole Miss, Clemson, Oregon, Coastal Carolina, Tennessee, UCLA, Southern Miss. Creighton
was Creighton in the top 16?
I mean, Binghamton they must have won their conference, Binghamton.
SUNY Binghamton, yeah.
Creighton is the 3 seed.
Creighton is the 3 seed?
In their
region.
In their region. Their region is Arkansas, Kansas, Creighton. Or you know what it is? The SEC, Big 12, and
ACC
dominate this.
Wow, I didn't know that. I had no idea that. So baseball is, the tournament is seeded like the NCAA tournament almost.
Yeah, but you have like mini regionals. You have to get out of, got to win your regional.
Then they absolutely should have gotten in. I mean, I can understand, because The Big East is probably the smallest conference.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
We only had 7 teams.
But you have
SUNY Binghamton. That conference is I think it's either the MAC, the MAAC.
29 conference champs got automatic berths, 35 at-large bids. We didn't get one of the 35 at-large bids.
Yeah, that's highway robbery. Who were some of the teams that got at-large bids over us?
I'm trying to get that. Who were the at-large bids? Let me see. Okay. See. 13 SEC teams, 8 Big 12, 4 Big 10.
Got at-large bids?
13. Yeah, 9. Sorry. Advertising.
That's outrageous.
I don't want to watch it. All right, so let me see. Big East got 1 team, Creighton. So the conference champs were Utah Valley. I never even heard of them. St. Mary's, North Dakota State, Bethune-Cookman, Houston Christian, ETSU, Holy Cross, Little Rock, Central Connecticut State, Fresno State, Murray State, Miami, Fairfield, Columbia, Wright State, Northeastern, USC Upstate. What is that? Oh, South Carolina Upstate. I didn't even heard of it. Creighton is Big East. Only got 1. Stetson, Rhode Island, Binghamton. Conference USA got 2. They got whatever.
Yeah, but
DB.
My contention is the Big East only having 7 teams probably hurt them.
Sun Belt got Coastal Carolina and Southern Mississippi. Yeah, in a few days you got it. Big West got Cal Poly, UC Irvine. Conference USA got whatever DBU is. I don't even know what that is. And Western Kentucky. American got Eastern Carolina and UTSA. Do they have the records here?
UTSA. Wow.
UTSA 44-13.
I mean,
Big Ten got Nebraska, Oregon, Southern Cal, UCLA. Obviously, we're not better than them.
well, I think it has to do with our conference. We're 38-21 overall. We were 17-4. Our conference record is spectacular. But
Nebraska got in at 32-27.
yeah, but they're
won the conference. They won the conference,
and they're in the Big Ten.
Big 12, Big 10. You're right.
Yeah, Nebraska's a Big Ten school. The Big Ten in the SEC.
Oregon is 41-12.
Oregon is another Big Ten team.
Southern Cal is
Big Ten team.
UCLA is 42-16. That's better than us.
It's completely disrespectful to the conference. So the Big East only had 1 conference team.
Like Oklahoma State, like I guess they're better than us. They're 28-23, and they got in that large bid.
Again, they're going on strength of schedule.
Yeah.
If you look at our strength of schedule, I don't know, like Missouri, Penn State, Florida Atlantic were all losses. We lost.
State got in at 31-24.
Did Vanderbilt get in?
Vanderbilt's the 1 seed.
Okay, we lost we beat Vanderbilt, the number 1 seed.
Vanderbilt is 42-16.
And did Miami get in?
Overall 1. They're the number 1 team in the country. Vanderbilt.
And we beat them.
That was enough to get us in, I guess.
What about Miami? Is Miami in? Miami, Duke, North Carolina. I want to know if they're in. Northeastern's obviously in. Do you see any of those teams? Miami, Duke, UNC? You're frozen. I'm saying yes to greatness. Yeah, you're frozen. Come back. Come back. Are you coming back? Coach Schumann. So this is Stephen Cully, and balls and wieners all around. I'm waiting for the coach. I'm waiting for the coach. So yeah, it's disappointing to see that the Big East only gets the conference champion in, no at-large bids. We obviously started slow, but picked things up. We have incredible offense. Robert Spoley, Tyler Minnick, just Caleb Shapour, unbelievable. And to not get in, and I didn't know that there were that many teams that were in the tournament. So it's a highway robbery for us not to be in that tournament. It's very frustrating to see. And I'd like to know if I definitely would like to know if UNC got in. We beat Vanderbilt, the number 1 team in the freaking country. Miami, I'd love to know if they got in. North Carolina, we beat, who was ranked. I'd love to know if they got in. Northeastern obviously got in. I mean, the bottom line in all this, it's just plain and simple that we cannot be in the Big East. The Big East is hurting us in other sports. Football, we're an independent. We need to have an aggressive effort to get out of the Big East and to get into a Power Four conference. There's no reason that we should not be in the ACC. I, was against the Big 12, but at this point, I would take anything. I would take absolutely anything because we are losing money not being in a Power Four conference. We can compete in a Power Four conference. The Big East, when we were one back in 2009, 2010. Oh, there you are. Okay. What happened?
Dude, my whole system went out. I'm in my car now. I'm like
Oh,
Maria. Yeah,
you like Maria.
I'm like Maria now. Where are you going? I'm doing a podcast now because the whole system crashed up there. What do you got for me? Garbage?
I just have to I'll be back by 4:00 because I have an appointment.
Okay.
Oh, where are you headed, Coach? You got a tournament this weekend?
No.
Oh, why you have your seatbelt on? Are you driving?
Yeah, I'm going to be driving in a second.
Okay.
I said I'm doing a Maria.
Yeah. No, I was just looking at it like if I was curious if North Carolina and Miami got in.
Miami did get in.
We beat Miami 2 out of 3. We beat North Carolina, who was ranked. We beat Vanderbilt, the number 1 overall seed that was ranked. And I was just saying, like, it's evident now more than ever we have to get into a Power Four conference. We have to make the effort to do that. And the fundraising,
ACC, we get in.
I think we should be in the ACC.
I'm saying if we were in the ACC and we had that record in baseball, we get in
easily. Even the Big 12.
Easily.
But that's why. I mean, 7 teams in the Big East. I guarantee it's the smallest conference. Out of you mentioned the Big West. You mentioned the conference SUNY Binghamton plays in. I guarantee we are in the smallest conference.
We're among one of the small conferences.
Yeah,
which
that's
is amazing. How is that possible?
Because half of the Big East teams don't play baseball. Like Marquette doesn't play baseball. DePaul doesn't play, or DePaul's not in Big East anymore. If you look at Georgetown, is a bad baseball team in the Big East. Seton Hall is not good in baseball.
Right.
Butler, Xavier. I mean, it's just it kills us. The strength of schedule. Rutgers is a Big Ten team. St. John's, we dominated. The four conference losses we had, 2 were to Creighton. I think we had 1 to Xavier, 1 to St. John's. I mean, that was it. So it's evident that the Big East is hurting us all around, even in basketball. It's not the same. Joe D was right when he said it's not the same conference that it was in basketball, when they brought us back into it and kept it going.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to get into a Power Four conference, and they need, we need to aggressively pursue it. And I agree, it will take a tremendous fundraising effort to get it done.
Should we, if I was in front of my computer, I'd ask ChatGPT what we should do.
Well, I
What
mean,
conference we should.
it's obvious, but I mean, like going into a Conference USA or going into a Sun Belt, going back to the American, that's not the answer. It's still not generated. The group of five, I think, would still be more of a lateral move. I don't know what their television contract is,
Yeah.
but I see that as a lateral move. I don't think that's, taking what we can get. I think we really, with our success, winning the national championship in basketball 2 years in a row, coming out of the Big East, winning it this year with the women, that shows that we can compete with the best.
Right.
And then, football going 9-4. I know we didn't play the toughest schedule, but we beat who was in front of us, and we're going to do the same this year.
No doubt. Tell me if you still see me.
I don't know. No.
No, you don't. You don't, huh?
No. Why would you do?
I was just wondering if if I opened a different window on my
Oh.
phone.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you trying to look at?
I was trying to see if I go to ChatGPT, but I can't.
So what is chat? So if I type in Chat GPT, it's Chat GPT, right?
Yeah, I might be able to do it on my.
Okay, I got it. So what do I say to Chat GPT?
Well, you're not a member, so you might be getting an old model. But like, type in, go. What conference should UConn go in that would be better for football, basketball, and baseball than its current conference? Type that in. See what it comes up with. What is it? What is the aliens think?
All right. Let's see what they come up with. University of Connecticut is in a unique position athletically while it has blue blood basketball program. Its football program has struggled. Baseball is solid, but not elite nationally. UConn is currently independent in football, Big East for every other sport. Goals for a new conference. If you're looking for a better fit in football, baseball, and basketball, the ideal would be a power conference that elevates the football program through stronger competition and visibility, maintains or enhances the elite basketball status, supports a competitive baseball environment. And it says the ACC is the best overall fit.
There you go.
Great basketball, Duke, UNC, Virginia, competitive baseball, Wake Forest, Miami, Louisville, middle tier football, but better visibility than independent, geographic and academic fit, Northeastern footprint. Cons, ACC is unstable long-term with schools exploiting exits. Very true with Clemson and Florida State. UConn would need to be invited, and the ACC is already facing internal pressures. Number 2 is the Big Ten. We're not going to get that. Number 3 is the Big 12. The best basketball conference now, Kansas, Houston, etc. Improving football with new schools like Utah, Arizona. Strong baseball, Texas Tech, TCU. Khan's geographic stretch, UConn is way too far east. Football upgrade, but UConn would struggle early, and the travel costs for Olympic sports would skyrocket. And then 4, it actually said return to the American for short-term football stability. Yeah, so that is interesting to see. So Chat GPT is a membership deal.
Well, to get more like updated info.
Yeah.
But still, that's pretty good info right there. Like, we actually agree with the ChatGPT.
Well, Dave, we can't fundamentally. We're not going to survive the way we are right now. We're not generating enough revenue.
Like, we're losing out on NCAA baseball. The baseball team is losing out on that revenue.
Yeah, and
because they play in a weaker conference. So who cares if we win 15 games if we can't get into the World Series?
17-4, and only one Big East team got in, which is unbelievable.
We can't get into the College World Series.
We can't even get into the tournament. Like that's crazy. I thought it was smaller. I thought it was only the 16 teams that they talked about, but the 16 teams that they talked about were the automatic bids.
Right, those are the favorites in
the
each
fact that there were that many at-large bids and we didn't get one, that's highway robbery. But that again shows being in the Big East is a massive hindrance to the university, and I don't see how any of our sports are going to survive for 5 years from now, because you're seeing the war chest that the SEC and Big Ten teams are building up, and they're going to eventually surpass us in basketball because they're going to have more money.
There's no doubt.
We have funding. Yeah, we have funding for basketball, and I think we get great players based on our name and reputation. But you and I both know money talks. So 5 years from now, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So they got to make a play now when we're at our strongest. If you look at football, baseball, basketball combined, hockey, we are at our strongest. And even track. I mean, some of the Olympic sports, we are at our strongest athletically that we are going to be at. Now is the time for us to push, pressure, and do anything possible to get in.
I like what Chris D posted about the NCAA.
He's right. He's right. Chris D is the man. I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah, who is Chris D?
We don't know. He's a mystery. But he's smart.
He has to be an insider.
Well, he knew that I was at the building. He's
an insider. He's someone that works for UConn.
He probably saw my Facebook post.
He probably works at UConn.
No, I don't think he works at UConn because he would know why Jared was leaving.
Oh, true. But how did he know that? How did he know that Jared was leaving?
He knows everything. He knew I was at the Burton complex.
Yeah.
So, what do you have going on this weekend?
Sports stuff.
Do you have tournaments? Do you have flag football or baseball?
Yeah, flag. Sunday we have flag football.
Why do they do it on Sunday?
We have I think it's the playoffs on Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
And then we have baseball. I think a baseball game. I think Saturday. I think we have a baseball game. So.
And then you're getting lunch now.
I'm going to Wendy's to enjoy myself for lunch, and I wouldn't have gone out to eat, but my computer they're
Correct.
cleaning my house and my computer crashed.
Okay, I understand.
So I feel like someone maybe banged into the router or something, or
Oh yeah, reset it.
So I
Yeah,
mean, my son was back on it, but I was like, I can't go downstairs now anyway because they're cleaning it. But maybe they banged into it.
no, it's fine as long as it works.
Yeah. But I was like, I'm frozen. Nothing's working.
Well, yeah, I was talking to you. I kept asking if I wanted to know if
And then it just closed me out, right?
no, yeah, close you out. I wanted to know if North Carolina, Miami got in the tournament. So it's amazing. Like we beat Miami 2 out of 3. We beat North Carolina. We beat Vanderbilt, who's ranked #1. Maybe if we had beaten Northeastern, that would
Yeah.
have punched the ticket. But we definitely should have gotten in. I mean, we really did get screwed. So
Do you? By the way, last night I came across on social media clips of the 40-year-old virgin. That is the funniest movie ever.
oh, I know it is. I know it
It,
is.
it, it the clips had me rolling, and I know this is not on our topic. This just came to my head because you know how I am. As soon as it comes to my head, I have to spew it out.
Yeah.
But I just thought some of the scenes were just so, oh my god, just beyond funny. First of all, you could not do that comedy how they did it now.
Yes, you could. I
You
think
could
you
do
could.
it, but people would be up in arms.
You think so?
Oh my god, there's so many like people can't take a joke anymore.
No,
So
I know they can't. I know.
so
I know. I know.
you
I'm
know
well
what I'm
aware.
saying?
I'm well
Like
aware.
when I can't think of the guy's name, but the black guy's arguing with the Indian guy over the sale. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
When he said he's going to take his knife out that he got from a sheik, and he's gonna stab him with it,
Yeah.
and they start calling each other like he's using a racial slur to refer to himself.
Yes. Yes.
Then he
Yes.
refers to himself. Then the Indian guy refers to himself as a sand racial slur, and
Yes.
that's and that whole banter is
Would
just so funny. It's
would
so
never.
funny. It is to me like I just thought about like this is more for Rebel Republic because it's just like kind of
It
a
would
rant.
never be. It would never be allowed now.
It would never be allowed. It was so and then the Kevin Hart when Kevin Hart comes in
Yeah.
and he's talking about clapping him up with the coming after Steve Carell
Yeah.
and that scene when Kevin Hart comes in, and then the other scene when the black sales guys I can't think of that guy because I've seen him in a lot of movies. I can't think of his name though. But when he has his girlfriend come in and because she thinks he's cheating on him, and
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
Steve Carell honors bro code and gets his back, but he starts calling his girl a hoe for show, a hoe for
Oh, for
show.
sure. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Dude, there's so many scenes that when the one guy who was in this is 40, he goes and
Yes. Yes. Yep.
he can't take the Michael McDonald music anymore. You know how they
Oh,
play
it
Mike
drives him nuts. Yes. Yeah. In the store. Yes.
and he comes in and the woman. There's so many people who became massively famous after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know.
the Steve Carell obviously was already obviously
That was his breakout.
that was his breakout. Kevin Hart,
Seth Rogen, right?
Seth Rogen, the girl who plays the girl that he meets in the bookstore, who's
Yes.
I can't think of her name, but she plays Effie in the what you call it that the movie series where they're the Hunger Games, and
Yep.
then the girl who's the girl that pukes everywhere. That woman was in.
She's in everything.
She's in everything.
She was
Obviously,
she's married to the guy who made that
Apatow.
movie.
Yeah,
Judd
Apatow.
Apatow. Yeah, she's married to him.
And then Paul Rudd, obviously.
Paul Rudd. Yep.
The big woman who's the manager. She's a hilarious.
Yeah,
She's
she's
hilarious.
hilarious. She's been in everything too.
She has the same sense of humor in everything.
Yes.
She can. That dry, like I don't give a
Yes.
shit
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
She's great.
I like when she comes up to him. She goes, "You ever heard the term fuck buddy?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We could do that. Yeah. You know, you might learn a little bit. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
she's
thank
a
you.
classic. Oh my god, there's so many people that are like in that movie that became it's amazing how when that movie came out, what was that, like early 2000s?
Yeah.
You must have been in
I
college.
I saw it in the theater. No,
Were
I
you
was
in
just
college?
out.
Just
I was
out.
just out. Yeah. I
Just
saw it
out.
in I saw it in the theater.
Like I feel like I had to be young still because I thought, oh, 40, wow, like
I
40
was in my
or
20s. Yeah.
okay, so I was probably like 30 or 31. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh man, 40, these guys are old, you know? Like he's an old
Well, the one that came after that was when it was Seth Rogen
knocked
who
up.
knocked up. Yeah, knocked up came after. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious too.
Yeah.
And then This Is 40 is the other. People don't realize that
It's the sequel almost to it.
it's a sequel also because now Paul Rudd
Paul
is
Rudd.
40, is now
Correct.
40.
Yeah.
And that's the funny, like people don't realize that those are even though they never called them sequels,
They were,
like
yeah, they were
knocked
all
up
related.
and then This Is
This
40
is 40.
are really sequels of the 40-year-old
Yeah,
version.
they're in the same universe. Yeah.
They're in the same universe. It's actually different stories, but like basically it's supposed to be like that guy now grown up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but anyway, anyway, I just brought it up because I just thought those scenes were so funny. I'm sitting around. It's like 12:30 at night, and I'm just laughing, and my wife's like, "What the fuck are you like?" I'm like, I'm just watching scenes of. I was just thinking
Well,
about.
I watched the Joe Biden Trump debate from June.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I had never seen it.
Okay.
And I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, you didn't realize that Joe Biden was that fucked up.
If I were Trump, I would have felt bad for him. Like I
He
wouldn't.
kind of half did. Like he didn't go in as hard.
Off. Yeah.
He went in hard, but he could have went in harder, I thought.
Yeah, he said that he couldn't even look at him. Like he was just, when you hear some of his answers, like he talked about Agent Orange and Medicaid, and he just said the word Medicare, and he was making up like facts that weren't true. And you could barely hear him. Like I was shocked at how bad it was.
Okay.
And now you kind of understand why it went the way it went, because I've been reading about the book Original Sin and everything that it's revealed.
Right.
And it goes.
Oh, the
from
book's
that
out.
debate.
The book's out.
Yeah,
Oh, might have to go get it.
it's expensive, but yeah, it's just unbelievable when you see, and how I said it, the inner circle protected him. They knew how bad he was. They said he would only work from like 10 to 3. And that was like, if anything important needed to be done, it was done between 10 and 3 or
My
10
God.
and 4. Anything early? No. Anything late? No. And his cabinet was like concerned because they had no access to him. They had to go through either Dr. Jill or, one of his trusted aides to get to him, to get information to him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And even like Chuck Schumer demanded a meeting with him, and he kept getting blown off, and blown off. And it wasn't until he said, like, I'm going to go public unless you get me a meeting with him.
Wow.
And so they had a meeting, and he told him, he's like, listen, like, you can't run. And Biden said, thank you for having the balls to tell me that, because nobody else did.
Nobody else would tell him.
And then it had Kamala's campaign manager, who basically said that Biden waiting so long to pull out fucked her chances.
I disagree with that. I don't think she would have had a chance anyway.
I don't think she would have either, because even in the book, she's described as lazy and unlikable.
Lazy and unlikable.
And that's what the book said. Yeah, like people who like they interviewed 200 people. Now they're getting slammed because the interviews were mostly anonymous, but that's how she was described.
Lazy and unlikable.
Yeah. And like there were a couple people who they wanted to run, they wanted to have primaries and run against him, but it never happened.
She's a hoe for sure.
So now the Democratic Party's in disarray, and nobody knows where it's going to go.
Massive disarray.
It is, yeah. Like
AOC might be their top candidate. That's how
yeah,
bad.
but I think that from what they've said, she's too far left.
Oh, she's a train wreck, and she's a train wreck. Could you imagine her on stage?
Yeah,
Against Rubio or Vance, they would kill her.
I want DeSantis, but
Even DeSantis, they would all crush her.
yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't even have a chance against them.
It's just too far left. It's way
Not
too
only is she too far left, she's not educated on enough topics.
No. She's just there because of her looks, and
Well, she did a great job the first time campaigning. That's one of her. She campaigned on the fact that the person who was in the incumbent never got out in the community. So
Very
she went out to the community, and she met with people, and she got voted in. And then what's happened since is she never's in the community. That's the ironic part of it all now. She never goes to the community now.
no,
Which is hilarious. Which I find that's how she won. And she doesn't go to the community. And I'll tell you, when people get power, dude, it is interesting what they do. I mean, they really just don't care.
I did a show with Chris Bellamy.
Okay.
And we talked about he got a lot of feedback wanting to talk about the Puff Daddy trial. And he was saying that, power and money changes everything. And he said, like, Puff Daddy was a backup dancer for Heavy D. Like, that's how his career started. And
well,
then
I don't think it changes everything. I think it reveals who you really are.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And, he hitched his wagon to Biggie Smalls, and, then he became a performer, and then his empire just grew and grew, and he thought he was untouchable. But even Bellamy believes that the charges they overcharged with him. He shouldn't be in federal court with a RICO case for sex trafficking. He thought that was a bit much. He thought, like, domestic violence, sure, absolutely. Drugs.
They're not going to be able to prove.
It's not a RICO case.
It is but it is a RICO case.
You believe it is a RICO case?
Yeah, that's what they're going to get him on.
How?
They're going to get.
What is what has he done that can prove a RICO case?
They're going to get him on extortion and RICO and those kind of things. Yes, because they're not going to be able to get him on.
They have domestic violence, but
they're not going to get him on rape.
They didn't charge him. They charged him with RICO.
That's what they're going to get him on.
But RICO would have to be a criminal enterprise across state lines to be federally charged with that. Now, you can say he's a dirtbag. You can say he,
Have you seen this stuff? What was going on? It's beyond dirtbag.
I saw the videos. Yeah, I mean, I saw the drugs. I saw everything.
They're gonna do like what they did with Al Capone. They didn't get Al Capone on him
They got Al
killing him.
Capone on taxes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna get him on something that really is not. So they're gonna get him on something they can get him on. They're not gonna get him on, what they probably really wanted to do was rape or something like that on Cassie. They're not going to get him on that. So that's
but
why
they didn't charge it. Yeah,
no,
that's what
because
I'm
they're
saying.
not good. Right, they're not going to get him on that. So
I think they would, though. I think they'd have a better chance at they have the video to prove domestic violence.
Right.
I don't know what they have for proof of RICO.
They're getting Diddy no matter what.
I think RICO.
It's just like when they took down Epstein. They were getting Epstein. Just like when they took not Epstein.
Epstein was actually,
not Epstein. I meant Weinstein. When they took, is it Weinstein, the guy who was the
Harvey Weinstein, the movie producer? Yes.
When they took down Harvey Weinstein,
but it wasn't RICO.
No, but he really had consent in most of those in all of those cases. They got him on something else because he was basically a dirtbag. You know what I mean? Like
yes, I agree.
But he used his power to be a dirtbag, and probably what's amazing about Diddy and Weinstein is, and I feel bad for women in this aspect, and maybe it's some men with Diddy. I don't even in Diddy's case, but women.
There were men that were upset.
So in Diddy's case, there's men too, but with Weinstein, I think it was just women. So what I feel bad for these people in Hollywood, they're so desperate to become famous.
Well, yeah, they'll do anything. Yes.
They'll do anything. They will completely sell their soul just to become famous. And it's mind-blowing how they're willing to do it. You know what I mean? And so what ends up happening is these guys who are in these power, like Weinstein or Diddy, they take complete advantage of these people. I mean, it's because at a max level, it's crazy. But anyway, let me get running. This was a great show. Again.
All right. Well, you have a good weekend. I'll text you, and just remember, Dave, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at the NCAA for not putting UConn in the Big East tournament, in the NCAA tournament.